Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show, and this one's in the studio, obviously, so it's not a walk around show like I've been doing with some of the shows. But I want to mix a variety up. I want to have some that are in the field and some that are in the studio. So this being IrixGuy's live show, obviously, this is an open forum. Anything you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for how to. How do you several people had asked about, what's the best computer for video conference or for video editing. So I put together a post for that, and as well as a vlog post on my website, IrixGuy.com. And then, how to video conference from home. Any sort of tutorial type information that you may need, just comment, and I'll try to add it to my video queue, because I'm looking for video content ideas. I'm trying to create as many tutorials as possible. Doesn't necessarily have to be a tutorial, but anything you're curious about. And it goes without saying, as soon as I receive my Mavic Air 2, this channel is going to be chock full of Mavic Air 2 videos. But until then, we need to work on some other content strategies. So let's see. There we go. You should see it in chat right now. I've pinned the official IrixGuy Adventure Channel t-shirt, and that should pop up here in the chat any second. I want to remind everyone this is a live show. If you're watching this at approximately 4:06 p.m. New York City time on May the 3rd of 2020. So, if you want to super chat, that's greatly appreciated. Any type of support is always tremendously appreciated. So, we're going to hop on in here, and we're going to go through whatever. I mean, honestly, whatever y'all want to talk about. Do you want to talk about cameras? Do you want to talk about drones? Do you want to talk about live streaming? Is there anything in particular that you want to talk about today? Because, we're, this is a wide open forum. And this is episode 81 of IrixGuy's live shows. So, constantly working on the format. Today, I'm not at my primary, you can see in the back there, that's my primary green screen area. Today, I just decided I was going to do the corner, and I've got two mics. I've got this mic here, and then I've got that mic over there. Something I am working on for the channel, and this is not yet. I have not yet done this, but it's called an ATEM, ATEM, and I'm going to be installing an ATEM, and basically what that is it's a really spiffy way to be able to switch among various cameras. So once I have the ATEM set up, whether I'm in this corner cube or corner area rather, or whether I'm at the green screen set, or whether I'm in another part of the studio, I'll be able to switch among the multiple cameras and give you a close-up of what all is going on there. So that's going to be really nice. But it's because of the times right now, most everything video related is in short supply. So it's probably going to be a while before I do the ATEM. But that's linked to everything that's going on with the pandemic, and there's a lot of live streaming instead of in-person events. So it goes without saying that the products that are linked to live streaming are in short supply right now. But fortunately, before all of this started to shake, I was, and obviously I had no idea it was coming, but fortunately I had stocked up on, studio upgrades anyway. And that was not in preparation for the pandemic, but I've slowly worked on upgrading the studio and these acoustic panels in here, all kinds of stuff. So, I've got enough gear here to have good audio and pretty good video. Now, when the ATEM comes, instead of broadcasting with this camera that I'm on now, when the ATEM arrives, I'll be able to use this camera, the A7R4. So, it's going to be interesting to see the video quality difference with the A7R4 over this little USB. And this is a nice USB webcam that I'm using right now, but you just don't, when you're using a mirrorless camera and a nice lens like this, you're going to get such better clarity. Even though it's live streamed, the overall the overall video quality is going to be, so much better. So I'm excited about that. But again, it'll probably be a while because, with everything being in short supply, unless this stuff clears up quickly, I don't see that happening within the next few weeks. It'll probably be several months, if not a year or so out. But it is on my to-do, and obviously, as I've shared with y'all, and I'll pop this up right now in case you haven't seen it. But I'm working to make everything in here as organized as possible. So let me go up here. I'm going to pop open I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to show y'all behind the scenes live streaming, what y'all are watching right now. Oops. I just dragged it down, and there we go. Yeah, so I'm going to show y'all behind the scenes live streaming, because several of y'all had asked about that. How do I do that? And then I'm going to show you. Well, we're just going to do a few things here. Let me pop this up here. This is where having multiple monitors comes in to play. And something I do want to do. Actually, you know what? I just thought about that. That's what I need to do. You can see over my shoulder back there, or over there, that display on the wall, the 4K display. And that's something I need to add and I would only pull it out for live shows, but I've gone ahead and I've wired a 4K HDMI cable to the back of that display, and it comes out behind the cabinet over there. So let's see. We're going to go to this now, and this is really cool. So I can use my iPhone as a walk and talk camera and switch between it and the studio camera here. So check this out. This is really neat. Let's see if it pops up here. It should. Let's see. We're going to go in and do. I'm adding a new camera source right now. This is kind of neat. So I'm going to do add network. Okay, this is going to be considered a network. And there we go. It says allow connection. And now what I'm going to do is, let's see. I'm going to switch to this. So check this out. This ought to be pretty cool. So now we're going to switch over. So now I am on. You can see my studio set up here. So see over there on the left monitor, that's my Wirecast. That's how I'm doing the. That's basically my control monitor. And then over here to the right, I see the chat. Jessica, let's see, we got Jessica Davenport. Welcome aboard first. Welcome aboard. Brent, evening, fellas. Good evening. So you can see this is my little control room corner. And then the audio right now, because I switched to my iPhone, is coming through my iPhone. But this is my primary microphone for this live show. And then stepping over here, you can see the glow underneath the desk. That's the LED lighting system that I've put in here just to kind of make it look cool. And then that over there in that little crevice area, that's another LED light. And I can change the colors of those using voice commands with the Amazon A-word device. I'm not going to say it because it might wake yours up. All of these panels on the wall, and I've alternated colors. I've got charcoal gray, purple, charcoal gray. What these are acoustic panels. So you've probably noticed that my audio quality is significantly better than it was. So I've got those there. And then over here, I've got one. And then the opposing end of the room, I've got another one. Now, obviously, I don't have any on this because this wall is my green screen. And I can turn it on using voice command. So if your A-word device starts to act up, you'll know why. But check this out. So I'm going to say, Alexa, turn green screen on. Alexa, turn green screen on. So check that out. I got my key light turned on, this light, and then this light. There's often a slight delay, but that's how I do. That's how I do green screen. So see, now when you look at my set, you can see how well lit the backdrop is. Now, obviously, I wouldn't show the light switches, but I would have my camera positioned so you're just getting my body and the mic. And then see all of this area right here, I can chroma key, and that's how I do the virtual studio sets. This desk right here has been awesome. I kind of bought it, obviously sight unseen. And you can find it on my website. It's called Cubiker, Cubiker, but it's really nice. It's sturdy. The previous set that I was using, the desk, was just a cheap card table that had a black top that was starting to peel off. So I decided to get something a little bit fancier. So this comes in several sizes, but it's more than big enough for my laptop. And then I've got the studio mic over here. I'm using a Rode on the virtual set, and then a microphone boom pole. And then the cool thing is, down here I've got miscellaneous storage for whatever. I've just got a few cables and stuff. And then this right here is my studio monitor, so I can move this tripod. This is a very high-end tripod. I can move it around if I need to do a green screen segment over here, face on video. I can do that. If I need to place it in the corner and get like a wide shot, like say, get up here on the treadmill. See, I can do that, and I could, place it over here and kind of get that perspective, filming perspective, whatever I need to do. Check this out, Alexa. Turn green screen off. Alexa, turn studio lights off.
A few things share the name studio lights.
Alexa, turn office lights off. Alexa, turn office lights on. So see, that's kind of cool. I've made everything voice control, and I know this is just kind of goofy, but it does serve a purpose. And then over here with this 4K, and I got a super good deal on this, but 4K television, you can see there's no cables visible. I've got all of those run through the wall, and then also the sound bar. I've got it running through the wall, and then the wireless subwoofer. My next enhancement before I do the ATEM is to because I've got a USB cable running out behind this liquor area right here. It's down there, and I can pull it out. But what I want to do is get an extension cable so I can run, when I'm doing a live show, I can run an HDMI cable over to the back of those computers. Now, keep in mind, those monitors, those are plugged into an external GPU, external graphics processing unit, eGPU. And that eGPU, you can't see it, but it's behind the large monitor in the middle. And it's got a few available HDMI ports in it. I'm running a VEA 64 video card. So those monitors are being powered by the eGPU that's hidden behind the large monitor. So see, when I do a live show, what I'll be able to do is pull out an HDMI cable and run it over here temporarily to the 40-inch 4K display on the wall, and use it as a monitor of sorts. So I could use it as a third monitor. I've got 1, 2, and if I open the laptop, I would have 3. Technically, I could have 4. So just a way to see what's going on. Also, if I want to use this right here as a monitor, I can. It's USB HDMI. It's got an HDMI port on it, so I could run some video into it from a camera or something. So there's a lot of flexibility. Got a treadmill right here. Right here, I start getting fat, I can get on it and do a workout. So really, in this fake hardwood floor, man, this has been a treat. It's staying clean, and part of the reason it is I'm using steam mops. So I've got a steam mop that I'll bring in here, and just keep this immaculate. And then I've got my vacuum cleaner that was about I forget how many years old. I did the unboxing of it, the Shark vacuum cleaner. It finally died, but it lived a long and productive life. So I bought another Shark vacuum. So I've got a brand new vacuum cleaner, and I've been keeping this rug and then this rug right here super clean. So it's a really clean space. The air in here is nice and fresh, and it's just it's good to be in a studio. And see now I switch back to this other camera. So what I was just doing, walking around with the iPhone, that was what's the word for it? That acts as a network camera, because that was the iPhone in my hand, and it's acting as another camera that I can use for for the live streaming. I'm going to stop it now and close that. So see now that, well, obviously my camera's back to this one because I'm face on video. But that's nice using, and this setup that I'm using, I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's Wirecast. So I think, when I run that HDMI cable over there, whereas I've got Wirecast on this computer, what I'm going to do is make that my Wirecast computer. So that'll in essence become the control room. So the 4K display on the wall will be the control room. So if you've ever walked into a video production studio, that the control room, there's a bunch of monitors, there's a bunch of switches, and that's going to be the main display of which camera I'm using, which microphone I'm using, and so forth and so on. So just not a pointless project, but when you're working to obviously the short-term goal here is to exceed 100,000 subscribers, because when I do that, I will get the silver play button from YouTube, which is a trophy that people, and I hope they don't do away with it, because I'm going to be mad if they do. But when YouTubers achieve 100,000 subscriber milestone, it's a trophy that that's shipped to you. So that'll be nice. I've already got wall space for the 100,000 subscriber trophy, and I haven't really decided. I think I'm probably just going to put it over that purple sound panel, so it's kind of front and center when you walk in the studio, or I may put it over the 40-inch 4K display on the wall. Who knows? But yeah, this stuff, it's really fascinating to see how all this stuff works. And this desk in here, this is not a desk. It's just a countertop. It's countertop material, built it into the wall. So I've got an extended workspace. And actually, what I can do with that with the HDMI run that I use for the display on the wall, I can run it. I've got holes, those little cable cutouts in this table. I can run it through that, run it underneath this desktop, and tape it up there so it'll remain in there. And then if I need to use it, I can just temporarily pull it out. So the only cable that'll be visible will be the part to where it temporarily stretches from the end of this desk to the base of that cabinet. And actually, for that matter, if I got a rug and put in front of that liquor cabinet that's underneath the TV, if I put a rug right there, then the cable could just run underneath it and you'd never see it. And in that scenario, I could leave that HDMI cable permanently connected if I wanted to, and it wouldn't be seen because it would be running underneath the desk, and then it would come out underneath the rug. So there's a lot of options here, but it's the acoustics, and I hope that's the biggest thing here. I hope that the acoustics that everyone's experiencing are top notch, because that was my biggest my biggest hurdle was the audio quality in this studio. There was too much, especially when I switched from, I just had old junky construction grade carpet, the really cheap stuff, and it was the floor in here. And it worked. I mean, it worked, but after about I guess about 15 years or so, man, that stuff started to get dirty. And I mean, obviously I kept it clean, but it's just old, cheap, that off-white construction grade carpet. So when I got that out and put in this cheap fake hardwood floor, which looks nice and is easy to maintain, with a steam mop. Obviously having that different type of floor impacted the what's the word for it? The acoustics. So that's why I put all these panels up, and these panels are awesome. A Tech for Your Needs says, is that safe under the rug? Don't want to catch fire. That's a very good point. And that's something I'll need to research. Now, obviously, the underneath the rug, that would just be an HDMI cable. So, I wouldn't be running any power cables or anything. But with that being said, I wonder if there's any sort of risk of an HDMI cable creating a fire. And yeah, definitely wouldn't want that. Don't want to build this studio and have have it go up in flames. That wouldn't be good. Would not be good at all. Not good at all. So yeah, it's been exciting. Putting all this together has been really exciting, and it's just a matter of identifying the content. And what I think I need to do for this spot, and this is just on the desk, but if I wanted to make this more professional, what I could do is I could get some sort of microphone stand that is ceiling mountable. Because I bet I've got a stud. Yeah, there's a stud right there. So I've got a stud in the ceiling, so what I can do is professionally mount a microphone stand for this microphone, and then just have it drop down. Make this look like a high dollar studio set. And then the other thing I was saying, this webcam, although the quality y'all are seeing is probably good, this webcam is not up to snuff with a mirrorless camera. So what I want to do is when that ATEM, that switching device arrives, what I want to do is have the camera up there and then figure out, what am I going to put for the other set, because I'm going to switch between two cameras. And it may be that this camera is acceptable for, I don't know, we'll just see. I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. But I really want to give, because I'm streaming right now in, let's say I fixed the network issues. I had a little bit of congestion, and I've tweaked the settings for some of the devices on my network, and I'm not getting that congestion anymore. So right now, for example, streaming at 720p 30 frames per second, 4 megabits per second, H.264. Now if I tried to jump up to 1080p, I would experience some degraded live stream quality. So I'm not going to do that yet. But what I'm hoping is that I can get to the point to where I'll have enough, enough bandwidth to be able to, to be able to stream in 1080p instead of 720. 720 is still HD, but obviously 720 is not as clear as 1080p, and at least at this point in time, 4K streaming, to my knowledge, is not an option. Well, it's not an option for me because of bandwidth. So, you got to have a to stream 4K. You'd have to have a pretty robust internet connection. But yeah, this is nice using, one thing, the tool that I showed earlier when I showed you my desktop with the phone, the Studio Monitor app, that's Wirecast. And it's a great program. But man, if I could tell them one thing, I would tell them, drop this silly support. Because every year for Wirecast, and I don't want to quote the incorrect number, but every year I've got to renew the support for Wirecast, and the problem with that is that it's, I think it's around $100 or so every year. And there was one year where I didn't do it, and basically what happens if you don't renew, then when Mac OS, I'm a Mac user, so when Mac comes out with a new operating system, it's not going to be too long, at least that's the way it happened for me, before Wirecast breaks, because it's no longer compatible with the newer Mac OS operating system version. So you're kind of forced into upgrading. Now, the problem I had is that, I discontinue the support, and then if you do that, then you're no longer, you're no longer current. So then, instead of just being able to upgrade to the newest Wirecast or renew your support, you're starting as a new customer, as if you don't have the product. So, as much as it hurts, but then again, if it, $100 a year for live streaming, for this software product, it's around $100. I forget how much, but really that's not too bad. Especially when people super chat. And oh, by the way, feel free to super chat, super sticker. You can do that on this or any of my live shows. Just a great way to super chat it up. But so that's the big thing here. Just working on the studio, getting everything as refined as possible. Obviously getting all the clutter out of here. That was the biggest thing. I mean, I just had a mess, and you can't really be that productive with video production if you've got a mess everywhere. So let's see. I'm going to flip these around here. Man, think about putting a third. Well, actually, I don't need to put a third monitor in here because the display on the wall will be that third monitor. So I just need to get an HDMI cable of sufficient length. But yeah, this is pretty slick. But like I said, that ATEM, when the ATEM, when that thing becomes readily available again, I'm excited to put that in here and just push the buttons like a control room, move among the cameras. So yeah, other than that, man, not much going on here. Just wanted to get provide everyone an update. Obviously do a live show from the studio and let y'all know that, things are coming together. And, again, your support is paramount. Your subscriptions, shopping, IrixGuy.com, EpicDroneShow.com, supporting on Patreon.com/IrixGuy. All of that is deeply appreciated because it enables this channel. And again, independent YouTuber, so it enables the channel to continue to exist and to continue to grow, rather. So I got a lot of exciting stuff coming. I'd like to say that, and I think I had mentioned this during a live show a few months ago, but the plan was to go to Curacao. Curacao is a little bitty island, not too far from Venezuela. So, that was the plan, but obviously because of the pandemic, the next adventure on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is to be determined. As soon as it's safe to travel, and I'm not one of these that's rushing out to travel. I mean, I need to. I mean, it's important to keep all the content fresh and to visit these new and unknown territories. But because of the pandemic, it's just, unfortunately, it's not safe, and it's going to be a situation where IrixGuy's Adventure Channel will determine when it is safe to travel again. So once that determination is made, it's probably going to be Curacao. Actually, it may be a more in-depth look at St. Bart's. That was on the, let's see, what year was that? Was that 2016 or 2017? When IrixGuy's Adventure Channel went to St. Bart's, Anguilla, and St. Martin. I think it was 2017. But St. Bart's, that was just it was a little shy of 48 hours on the island, and that wasn't long enough to sufficiently capture all the video content that should have been captured. So, but the trip over to St. Bart's proved that hey, this is a place that there's definitely a lot of video potential. Tons of stuff to see, tons of stuff to create travel tutorials for. So, that may be a repeat destination because it's a really cool place. But until COVID clears, there's travel for IrixGuy's Adventure Channel has been suspended. There's no way that the channel's going to get sick trying to film YouTube videos. Although it's painful to have to say that, it is what it is. So I don't know, but we'll get through this COVID crisis, and this channel and the entire world will be stronger than ever. I mean, it's just a matter of getting through it and remaining patient, and not making rash decisions. I mean, it's easy to become stir crazy and just want to rush out, and if that happens, man, it's dangerous. Do everything you can. I've had to pivot a lot with my business model, because I don't have the opportunity to travel because of the pandemic, and who would have thought that would have happened? But it's affecting everyone, and it's put me in a weird spot because this channel is heavily linked. It's not just drones, but one of the primary components of this channel is travel, adventure travel, and without being able to do that, it's kind of scary. But looking at it from the bright side, because of the pandemic, the travel industry is unfortunately going to be beaten down. And a beaten down industry, what do they need? Well, they need marketing. They need to get people to encourage people to come back to those travel destinations. So for that reason, not saying that the pandemic's a good thing, because it's definitely not, but for the IrixGuy's Adventure Channel's business model, it will hopefully play in the channel's favor, meaning that, as soon as it is safe, as soon as IrixGuy's Adventure Channel's leadership determines that it is safe to travel again, that will open up the opportunity to capture content for travel destinations that, they're really looking for content. That's my goal. I want to go after stuff that's heavily searched, but there's not a lot of content. One of the places, and you may find it on, if you look at some of my older videos, a place called Pinel Island, Pinel Island. And that place is probably a place that you may not have heard of. It's heavily searched, though, and there wasn't a lot of content. So what I did, I got on a kayak and went across about 2.5 miles of ocean and filmed a ton of videos on Pinel Island, and that's been very very worthwhile. And then on the flip side of things, the crazy dude, a horrible dude, but he created an opportunity to capture a good video. I flew down and filmed Jeffrey Epstein's island. So I've got several Epstein's Island videos on my channel, and that's the name of the island is Little St. James Island. But it's just a tiny little island, and I went out there and filmed a bunch of videos of it, put them up on my channel. So that was kind of neat. But I mean, other than that, man, I mean, it's right now it's a matter of Mavic Air 2 coming. I hope that Mavic Air 2 impresses everyone like I feel that it will. And again, as a reminder for everyone, if you're looking for Mavic Air 2 or any other drone, just check out epicdroneshow.com and click the buy a drone link, and it'll link you to all the drones, including the Mavic Air 2. But yeah, it's an interesting time. I know we're all everybody is impacted, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to effectively respond to the current environment. I mean, this is a very difficult, temporarily extremely difficult business climate that we're in, and it's obviously IrixGuy's Adventure Channel for me it's fun. I enjoy it, but it's a business, and since it is a business, I've got to make sure that I make all the right decisions, and those decisions need to be made now, so that when this stuff does clear, when the pandemic does clear, that I've got a very methodical, step-by-step next steps plan for IrixGuy's Adventure Channel's content. Because if not, I don't want to go anywhere and be poorly organized. I want to have it all mapped out, and I want to have obviously with all my adventure travel videos. I mean, when I'm going to these places, I'm staying in the bottom tier price bracket of everything, but I'm getting a 5-star experience everywhere I go, which is great. but it takes planning, and it takes booking far in advance. And my biggest fear now is because of this, not knowing how soon it'll be safe to travel again, is not being able to book something far out because you don't know if it's far enough out. So it's a really weird situation because I can't plan the next travel destination until I know that that it's safe to travel. So anyway, enough of the rant. But yeah, I got a lot of the big thing now again is the studio, and with all of y'all, telling me, commenting here, shooting me a message on Facebook.com/IrixGuy, letting me know what you're looking for. Is there some sort of technical question that you have? How to create better lighting for your web conferences, or how to achieve better audio during your web conferences. Anything that you may need to know, such as that, ask, because I'm trying to I'm aggressively working to identify helpful how-to topics, for upcoming tutorial videos here on IrixGuy's Adventure channel. So, adventure is not all travel. Adventure is a little bit of everything. It's tutorial, it's drones, and it's obviously travel. That's a big component. So what did y'all think about the Kentucky Derby this weekend? Yep. So we got a quiet crowd today. Let me make sure I've got the stuff on here. Let's see. Usually it's very chatty. It's funny, I'm in the studio and people are quieter in the studio than they are when I'm doing the walk and talk show, where I'm out walking around and broadcasting from my smartphone. Got more people tuning in now. That's good. Just a reminder, this is a live show. If you're watching this at approximately 4:42 p.m. New York City time, this is live. Philippe is welcome back. Philippe had some really good questions about the best video editing computer and whatnot. And yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, this is I provided everyone a studio tour a few seconds ago. Actually, since you tuned in, since you're a super chat supporter of the channel, of IrixGuy's Adventure channel, I'm going to show you I'm going to give you the VIP tour again here. Let me see. We're going to pop up here. We are going to add the device. That was weird. Yeah, I killed my live stream tool. Let's see. Let me pop this back here, and we're gonna give you a VIP tour. VIP studio tour for Philippe. That is right. Let's see. So now we switch to my mobile VIP studio tour device. You can see there that is my Wirecast control room, and right now I'm using the iPhone as the video, and then over here I've got my primary studio camera. So the audio now is coming from iPhone, and then over here I've got my YouTube where I can see all of y'all in here commenting, and then this is this right here is the studio mic that I'm not talking through right now because I'm on the iPhone giving you all this tour. And then I've got LED lighting underneath here. As I mentioned earlier, that's voice controlled. Also, all the studio lights, the key light, the green screen lights, they're all voice controlled by way of Alexa. And then down there, I've got the 40-inch 4K TV, and it's I can use it for. I'm going to plug a HDMI into it, and I'm going to use it as a studio monitor. And then I've got these fake hardwood floors that are easy to clean with a steam mop. Got my fancy tripod with a studio monitor on it. Treadmill over there when I start getting fat. I can get on it and lose some weight. And then throughout the studio over there, back there behind the treadmill, over there, and then all through here, I've got the acoustic panels. And that's why the audio in here hopefully sounds as good as it does. And then for this, because I'm not on the green screen, I'm just using this little inexpensive webcam. And then back here, I've got my eGPU that I had mentioned earlier. So that's my external graphics processing unit. So you had asked about eGPU for your Mac that I sent you the links for that you were shopping for. So see, I've got my eGPU back there, video cards in it. These monitors are running off of eGPU, and then on top of the eGPU, I've got a 14 terabyte external hard drive for video storage. And then see my eGPU, it runs in right here. It's this cable. So that cable brings my video that's powering both of these monitors. It's bringing in the video from both of those monitors. But as I had mentioned, it's also functioning as a power adapter for my MacBook Pro. So it's really nice. And you can see, you don't even see that I've got my eGPU because I've got it hidden back there. It's hidden behind this large monitor. So, that's pretty cool. And let's see, I'm going to flip back over here to my primary camera. Oh, and that little thing you saw at the end, that's it's called a Beats Audio Beats Pill Plus. That's a speaker that I use for my computer. And so you can see here, I don't have a desktop. As I had mentioned, I had a desktop in the past. I had an iMac, but with this high-powered MacBook Pro that I use right now, when I plug it into my eGPU, it's just a solid experience. So I get the benefit of having what feels like a desktop, but the reality is it's not, because all I've got to do is disconnect my eGPU, disconnect my laptop, and take it wherever I want to go. And the video built into the i9 MacBook Pro is really good. I mean, it's more than sufficient for most editors, and when I'm in the field, I don't feel too gimped, not having the eGPU in the field with me. Philippe says, wow, how long have you been doing this YouTube setup now? Where did you learn everything? Well, as far as duration, man, I have started, and I can show you, I'm going to link this video for everyone here. This is when it all began. Let's see, let me get that. I'm getting it right now. Let's see, Carnival Elation. So, let's see. The video that started it all was this right here, man. So let me shoot y'all the link. And this was September the 11th of 2010. So September 11th of 2010 was when I was just becoming a YouTuber. So that video that I just linked, that's the video that started it all. So basically, if y'all haven't heard this story, what happened is YouTube contacted me, and they said, "Hey man, do you want to become a YouTube partner?" And I said, "YouTube partner? What's that?" Typically I wouldn't even listen to the spiel because, I would think it was a telemarketer or whatever. So the conversation segued into, well, YouTube partner program is the opportunity to monetize eligible videos. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like making money. I like making money. So how does it work? So long story short, it was a situation where they said, if you want to become a partner, we like this video brought us to you. We'd like to extend the opportunity to make you a partner. Would you want to do that? at that point in time, 10 years ago, YouTube Partner Program was by invitation only. So I accepted it, and then I started to see I saw the pennies coming in, and then I saw the quarters and the dollars, and I'm like, you know what? If I can do this with one video, imagine if I make a lot more videos. So it just it was a natural progression. And again, this is just going to answer your question about how did I learn everything. Well, the way I learned it was that, number one, I learned that there was an opportunity. There was an opportunity to make money monetizing videos. And the way that I've explained it in a book that I'm writing and I will be publishing on Amazon is the best way that I explain it is think of billboards. So you're driving down the street and you're in a city, a downtown area of a very nice city. You're in the very expensive side of the city with the nice restaurants and the nice shopping. You go to that same city and you're in another part they don't have the fanciest restaurants. There may be more fast food and the shopping may not be as high end. But both of those areas within that city have billboards. And then on the flip side, you go out in the country, very remote areas. There may not be businesses for miles, but there's still billboards. Some of those billboards, obviously the ones that are in the city, in the high rent shopping area with the high rent restaurants or the high dollar restaurants, those billboards are going to probably cost a lot more to advertise on than the one that's in the lower rent part of the city or the one that's out in the middle of nowhere in the country, miles from civilization. But the reality is that every billboard is valuable, meaning that, for the advertiser, people are driving by it, they're seeing it. If there wasn't demand for a billboard to be there, there probably wouldn't be a billboard there. So, whether your advertisements are going to the high-end shopping area, the lower-end shopping area, or the middle of the country, those advertisements are still generating advertising revenue when you look at it from a YouTube perspective. So from a YouTube video perspective, I may have some very heavy-hitting videos, those videos that are the equivalent of the high-rent, nice shopping, nice dining area. I've got a bunch of videos that are the equivalent of, they're not as nice. It's probably the fast food area and very low-end retail. And then I've got the videos that are the countryside equivalent, the ones in the middle of nowhere so the bottom line in what I've discovered, and, back to your question, is how did I learn all of this? Well, it's a quest. It was a quest to, number one, as soon as I became a YouTube partner, after I was invited and I became a partner, I'm like, this is fine and dandy. I've got a handful of videos. Again, that video I just linked that started it all, September 11th of 2010. I'm like, well, if I've got one video, what if I have more? And, I haven't gone with the quantity over quality. I don't, I disapprove of that train of thought for business. But I do go for quantity. And I've realized with this, and again, teaching myself and teaching others as I progress, but, it's not I guess the best way to put this would be that there's power in quantity. Not every video has to take an entire day to edit. Not every video that's going to be a heavy hitter requires editing at all. I mean, there's a video I got, and literally I just pulled out my smartphone, and let me see if I've got a link to that one. But this was, it seems goofy, but it's, yeah. So this video here I published 7 years ago, and I just filmed it, no editing, just filmed it with an iPhone out of my pocket, January of 2013. It's got 754,000 video views, and all it is how to bake pork chops in the oven. So, that's an example of quantity, using the quantity in a correct way. So, my desire to go after quantity, but also quality. This is an example of quantity, but it was still quality. It didn't have all the edits. It wasn't fancy. It was just filmed with an iPhone. But it was quality from the perspective that it answered a question. How do I bake pork chops in the oven? So it answers a question, and I feel the pork chops taste great because that's how I bake them most of the time. And that's an example of quality, and it was simple. So if you just go, and this is where a lot of YouTubers have failed. They've gone for extreme quality. I mean, they want to make every video look like something out of Hollywood. I mean, professionally edited, the colors and everything graded to the T. I mean, they could fool, the quality of this video could fool anyone in Hollywood into thinking that they had a huge team of producers and editors to create that production. And the thing is with that, the YouTuber that follows that formula, yes, they may create a very successful video, but how many hours went into the creation of that single video? And what if during the time that they created that one video that's outstanding, I mean, very professional, looks like something out of Hollywood, had they not gone to that degree of editing, how many videos? I've got a how to boil corn and how to shuck corn. How to boil eggs. I don't have that one. That is a good one. I actually need to do that one. But yeah, is it better to have, to spend all that time to create one video, or potentially spend the same amount of time and create 100 videos? For me personally, I look at it like, okay, well, I create this professionally edited video, but what if it doesn't appeal to a large amount of viewers? If it doesn't matter how professionally edited it is, if it doesn't catch on, if it doesn't attract the attention of viewers, which then in turn attracts the attention of advertisers, if it doesn't attract attention, then it was time wasted. Let's say it only gets 100 views. So all that time was put into one video that looks excellent. I mean, it looks like something that was created in Hollywood, but did it serve its purpose? If your purpose with YouTube is to grow a business, it doesn't matter how good it looks. If people don't watch it, it's not providing value. It's not attracting the advertisers. So for that reason, I like to go, and again, I look at this like billboards on the side of the street, but I like to go for quality, but I like to go for quantity. Because if I do 100 videos instead of one, probability suggests that out of those 100 videos, I'm probably going to have a few heavy hitters and, maybe a lot of laggards, that's to be expected. But the probability suggests that I will at least have a few solid performing videos out of that pot. So I would, and again, that's just my personal preference. I would rather go quantity with quality versus, a single video with extremely good quality. I'm not a gambler. I want to say, okay, here's my 100 tickets. Let's have a few of these hit versus here's my one ticket. Let's hope it hits. So that's my take on that. So that's how I learned how to grow my channel, was following that. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm publishing a book. It's gonna be available on Amazon. I'll let everybody know when it's available. But that's how I learned YouTube and how to grow YouTube. And I watch YouTube analytics on a daily basis. I check them out. I find clues. I find what's performing well, what's performing poorly, and I use those good performers as templates for upcoming videos. Just because there's one video on a certain topic doesn't mean that there couldn't be 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm not saying flood the market with rehashed tutorial content, no. But it's, let's see, Philippe says, okay, think in 2010 it was a great idea, but in 2020 it's risky business. Too much competition. Well, it's like anything else. And this is it's a great question. And I've relayed this to others, is that, it's never too late. I mean, I see YouTubers that just have a natural gift for it, I've seen YouTubers, a year or so ago or a few months ago that have hit the scene and they rapidly generate traction. And, for someone new, it could be a matter of, maybe you've just got that right video. Maybe you were at the right place at the right time and you were able to capture a video that could never be staged and created again. Some sort of historic event. You were there and you captured it, but nobody else was around. Volcano erupting, whatever it may be. But you caught something that nobody else captured, and that puts you on the map. All it takes is one good video. And I hate to use the word viral because viral is often misused. But a video that gains a lot of traction rapidly, because that video, think of it as kind of your lighthouse. You're on this deserted beach, and there's a lighthouse there. It's got this little light spinning around. If you control that lighthouse, all eyes are on you because it's the only thing that people see it from sea. They don't see the other lights; they see the lighthouse. So it's people are watching more YouTube because of the pandemic, and that's if you've got the ability, if you've got the motivation, and you've got the willingness to fail a few times, but remain persistent and continue to produce, then you can become successful at YouTube. Granted, to answer your question, it is a more challenging playing field today than it was in the past. I regret being such a late adopter. I mean, I didn't start until 2010. And again, during 2010, when I discovered this opportunity, I had no idea that monetizing YouTube videos was a business until YouTube contacted me and said, hey, man, we like this cruise ship video, the one that I linked in the comments up above, and, we'd like to invite you to become a partner. So, had that not happened, I never would have found this opportunity. And I wish I had found it sooner because, 2010, I was a late adopter, man. These people that got on the YouTube ship in the beginning that were forward thinkers, maybe they weren't forward thinkers. Maybe they just wanted to post videos and they found out they could make money by doing it for eligible videos, of course. But, I don't know. I regret not being in on the early days because I missed the bus. But, I am thankful that when I went on that cruise, and again, my intent for filming all the videos during that cruise was not to put these videos on YouTube and make money because I didn't know that existed. My goal was to video all of these tropical islands and share with friends and family the videos because videos are more exciting than pictures. And also I had a Mac computer, so I was interested in, using some of the software, iMovie, and editing some video stuff. But I needed good video content to edit. So, that video was just filmed with a cheap waterproof camera. Again, I didn't have any understanding of quality cameras or quality audio at that point in time, but it worked. And, that's just another illustration that the type of camera doesn't necessarily matter. It's the content, because that was a cheap camera, but it caught the attention of YouTube, and I was invited. When YouTube Partner was invitation only, I was invited, so that was cool. But I learn new stuff every day, and that's, the studio tour that I just provided. That's my next big thing, is learning how to better perfect audio, how to better perfect video, and ultimately set this studio up for better and more professional live streams. Because obviously the live streams, like I said, I've got my chroma key set over there where I can do the virtual set. I'm going to do a lot more work with that. The live streams are important because, like this live stream and all the live streams, people have the opportunity to super chat or super sticker. And I know you've super chatted several times, and that helps to support the channel. And that's the value that one of the items of value that live streaming provides on a YouTube channel is that it provides YouTubers with the opportunity. Philippe, I appreciate that, man. The audio is perfect. Provides YouTubers with the opportunity to interact with their audience like we are now, answer questions in real time, and also, generate that additional revenue, the revenue from the super chats. And that's something that makes the live stream super important. And that's an area, live streaming is an area where I've got to improve because, it's gotten to be pretty easy for me to go to destinations, throughout the Caribbean and film. I've gotten a workflow down for that. I know, within Final Cut Pro 10, how to organize all my content that I capture on a daily basis by the camera type, by the location, etc. I know how to take all that video content back to my studio and synchronize it with my other hard drive, which then has a backup in the cloud, in the internet. So I know how to safely retain all of my video that's captured. So if there's a natural disaster, if my computer's stolen, I've still got all my videos in the cloud, and I can just re-download all of those videos, or have Backblaze send me a hard drive with everything on it. So, I've learned things like that. But what I have not perfected yet is the live streaming component. So that's, excuse me, that's why I've got this, because this right here is my sandbox. And, once I get all of this nailed, I feel that's the next major component for, channel uplift, continuing to move IrixGuy's Adventure channel forward. And, this live show component is a huge component for continued success. And that's where I want to learn. And that's one of the things I like about YouTube. It's an opportunity to challenge oneself in different technical areas. Whether technical involves video editing, video capturing, whether technical involves audio editing, audio capturing, how to get the best camera angle, how to shoot quality still photos. I mean, there's so many components that come into play, beyond simply filming the video. And then the analytics, okay, where's IrixGuy's Adventure channel going to go next? And that's heavily linked to analytics. Okay, where can I go that's not overly saturated? I want to capture high quality video footage for a heavily searched location that does not yet have a lot of high quality video footage. That's one of the biggest things, and that's what I love about the Caribbean, is that the Caribbean, there's a lot of places that are popular, but often it's just a vacation destination. And as we know, the vacation destination, what typically happens, people go, they get their swimsuit, they get their cooler of beer and their liquor, and they go out and float around, which is great. I mean, that's a vacation. What they don't do, what most people don't do when they go to the Caribbean, is say, okay, this is a business. What am I gonna target today? And see, that's why the Caribbean is such a unique opportunity, because I'm just pulling this number out of my head, but I would guess that maybe 90% or so of people that are in the Caribbean are there solely for a vacation. So, they're not taking cameras, they're not taking drones, they're just there strictly to drink and float around. But see, I'm there, and granted, I have some drinks, but I'm there to capture content that people are searching for. So people that are wanting to go there and float around and drink, they're researching that online. And what's the best place to find stuff? Google and YouTube. So what I'm doing is capturing a portfolio of content that people stumble upon within their YouTube searches and or Google searches, and they're able to see an accurate representation, again, authentic representation of these locations that they've never been to, potentially never been to. And maybe they've been somewhere, but they want to know more, and they want to plan ahead. Because one thing that you'll notice, especially if you're only doing like a week, when you're in the Caribbean for a week, it's not long enough. I mean, once you start to figure out where everything is, then it's time to go. But wouldn't it be awesome if you already knew what was there that was of interest to you, and you could kind of map out your week-long or 2-week, however many weeks stay, and know, well, this is definitely what I want to do, and then this is time that I'll set aside to explore and find things on my own. I'm not saying everybody's a planner, because most people aren't planners. But there's one thing that's for certain, and that's people that are looking for something to do, a travel destination. they're going to research that. And in today's world, they're going to research it on Google and YouTube. So if you've got content there, people are finding you, you know. Whether they take your advice or not, they're still watching it. And you know, and it often leads to, well, hey, I'm going here. I get tons of travel requests. That's another service that I provide is travel consulting. So if you're ever looking for travel advice, I provide travel consulting services. You know, you tell me the place. If I'm familiar with it, I'll give you recommendations. I'll send you links. That's what I do. But Philippe says, I cannot wait to go back to the Caribbean islands and use my drone and camera. But we don't know when. If you know when we can go back, please let us know. Like I said, man, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, travel is suspended until further notice, meaning that, I mean, I'm not going to put my channel at risk just to go to a travel destination and you know, in this pandemic still be prevalent. So, but I guarantee you, man, as soon as IrixGuy's Adventure Channel deems it safe to travel again, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel will be traveling, and there'll be a bunch of videos. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm not going to rush it, though, so don't wait on me, man, because you wait on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, it may be a while. I don't know how long this pandemic's going to be prolonged. You know, a lot of people, and not to be a fearmonger, but a lot of people expect that, or are expecting there to be a second wave of this because of everything opening prematurely. And, you know, as much as I hate to say it, I'm from that school of thought as well, because, you know, I feel that, you know, anything that, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. I'll think of it here in a second. Just trying to think of something so you plant new grass. Here's a good example. You plant new grass in your yard, and it's almost grown back. You know, it's almost a perfect thickness, but instead of waiting for it to be perfect, you jump out in that yard a week before it's ready, and you tear it all up. So if you'd waited a week, that grass would have been immaculate. It could have, you know, withstood the foot traffic. But instead, you rushed out in the yard, you played football in the backyard, and you tore all your grass up, and now you got to start over. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen. Let's see. Philippe says, I see. Question for you. How many people need you to watch your videos minimum for advertisers to contact you? What numbers? I can't say exact numbers, but what I can say is that the advertising is hands off. And what I mean by that is that, you know, if and the requirements change, check with Google, check with YouTube for the YouTube partner requirements, because they're constantly changing. But if you're approved to become a YouTube partner and your videos are eligible, the beauty of YouTube Partner Program is that you don't have to recruit anybody. I mean, you simply certify that, hey, this is a video I created. You know, I own all rights to this video because it's your creative works, and I would like to monetize this video. And once you do that and go through all, you know, Google's checklist about the content, making sure that it meets or exceeds advertiser-friendly guidelines, blah, blah, blah. Once that video is greened up with monetization enabled, at that point, you know, Google places the ads. You don't have to go through. You don't have to approach anyone. That's the beauty of this. I don't have to approach anyone. All I've got to do is post a video, you know, obviously making sure it's my own video and that any music that I use in it is royalty-free, that I'm able to use that music for commercial purposes, and then everything else just takes care of itself. That's what's so awesome about it. So, I mean, it's, man, I'm itching all over. I got poison ivy all down my legs. Itches. That's part of it, I guess, getting out in the wilderness, capturing these videos, getting out in the wilderness with the snakes and the poison ivy. Got a rash on my leg. Oh, well. It's worth it. But, yeah, that's the beauty of it, Philippe. That's the beauty of it. You can... Felipe says, also, once a while, the advertisement is showing up on your live video. So we have to wait 5 seconds. So sometimes when you say something, I may miss it for a few seconds. Are you aware? Yeah, I'm very aware, man. Actually, I've got a button right here that has a $sign. I'm about to push it. So when I push that button, it generates an advertisement for the live show. So when I'm live streaming, I'm, at whatever intervals, I determine the intervals, but I'm pushing that button to display an ad because that's one of the ways that I generate advertising revenue from these live streams. Obviously, the other way to generate revenue is when people like you did do a super chat or a super sticker, and that's in the chat section. It's a little $sign. They click that, and then they're able to support the channel with whatever dollar amount they choose. So that's another thing. And then also I'd mentioned it before, but patreon.com/IrixGuy. Patreon is an outside of YouTube component that people can choose to pledge a certain dollar amount every month to support the channel. So that helps as well. Also there's the list goes on. I mean, there's a lot of ways to monetize a YouTube channel, and the thing I like is just the hands-off nature of the ads. I don't have to approach advertisers. I don't have the time and I don't have the energy to do that. And it's great that that Google manages that for you. So yeah, it's a cool thing, man. I mean, that's why I'm going to do more live streams. I'm really working to make this studio as refined as possible, and with that being the case, I never will allow myself to get to the point with this channel where I'm saying, oh, it's studio only and it's studio lighting or it's nothing. I'm never going to get to that point. I mean, if I want to do a live stream and walk around like I do, getting a walk, 5-6 mile walk, and talk to people with the phone, pointing down at my feet, I can do that. And that's the thing. As a content creator, don't confine yourself to policies that are too taxing, if you know what I mean. I mean, don't let yourself not post content because you feel that it's not, your studio lighting or whatever. I don't care about any of that stuff. And see, that's where there's different types of creators, because I know a lot of people that are very super chat. Cool, man. Thank you. So that's a super chat that Philippe just did. So that's a super chat that came through, and if you want to do that too, you just click that $sign and you can super chat during this or any of my live shows. So that's awesome. That's how it works, man. But yeah, it's the people that are very typically not your business types, but people that lean more towards the creative side of the fence. People that are the photographers or the videographers, and that's kind of their strong suit. Those are the people that are probably not going to do the live shows like I also do, like walking through the grass with the camera pointed down. They would say that's unprofessional. And I respect their opinion, but I also feel that hey, whether I'm in the studio or at a tropical location live streaming, or if I'm just walking through a deserted parking lot with security cameras everywhere, I mean, so be it. I mean, it's still content, man. And that's a decision that the content creator has to make. Nobody else should make that decision for the content creator. It's their own show, and that segues into another thing. If you get big into YouTube, you're probably at some point going to be approached, and I've been approached hundreds of times. And again, I was even offered, someone offered to buy my channel. Once you hit a certain size, you start getting approached by multi-channel networks. And the thing with that, they may provide value for some people, but the reality is that they take a cut of the ad revenue, and they also have influence when it comes to the type of content that they would like to see on your channel. So, they come to you promising that, we're going to help you grow, and and we're going to provide you with the, maybe some royalty-free music, blah, 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 editing support, whatever they may provide, with the, not a promise, but with the hope that it'll provide enhanced growth for you. The reality is it may or may not. If it doesn't, basically what you've done at that point is that you've given up complete ownership of your channel, and now you're part of a partner network that's capturing X amount of your advertising revenue every month. So for that reason, I would never partner up. As far as selling out, I would never sell out because, it's one of those things grow over time and they become more valuable. A YouTube channel is like a virtual piece of real estate. If you treat it right and you keep everything desirable and you don't use profanity, and you won't hear any profanity throughout. I forget how many videos I've got. There's zero profanity. But if you keep things clean and you focus upon growing your brand on YouTube, you're really in a good spot. I mean, I remember, and I forget the exact dollar amount, but it was a little bit. I think it was a little bit over $250,000 US. And someone approached me. They were serious, like, "Hey, you want to sell your channel?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't. I don't want to partner up, and I don't want to sell it either." And they're like, "Well, can you at least hear our offer?" I said, "Hey, I'm a business person. I said, I'm always listening. I'm always willing to entertain an offer, but obviously, I'm by no means committing to saying yes. I mean, And so anyway, the offer came through, and the offer it seemed to be substantial. I mean, it was a little bit over $250,000 US, and that may seem like a large number, but as an owner of a YouTube channel, the YouTube channel owner needs to sit down, and a lot of times YouTube channels are owned by multiple individuals, and in my situation, it's just me, which I love because I'm in complete control of the channel. I don't have to consult with anyone else. I can do what I want to do. But when that number first came out, I'm like, that's a decent number. I mean, that's over $250,000. But today, in today's world, $1 million, unfortunately, really isn't that much. And if you look at if you look at your analytics, and you say, okay, well, if I accepted an offer, and it doesn't have to be that, whatever the offer may be. If you look at stuff and you just say, okay, well, based upon, my current earnings, how many years or how many months, how many weeks, whatever, varies among channels. I'll never talk numbers, but how long would it take, at the current expected monthly earnings, how many months or how many weeks, how long would it take to reach that dollar amount? And then that's the thing. It's like, well, and then you look at that and it's like, man, that's, if I get rid of that, then it no longer exists. I mean, you've built something, you've created earned status, and the status on YouTube. There's several things that increase the perceived value of a YouTube channel. I mean, from a pure metrics perspective, you've got the number of subscribers. You've got the number of video views. So, that creates perceived value. But you've also got the content. Does this particular YouTube channel, does it have first of breed whatever subject matter? If so, then, that can never be recreated because that channel at one point in history, they captured and posted content, so they're unique. They were, let's say, the first person in the world to do whatever, and that's documented within video, and that's a value because you've got something there that is valuable as far as the time that it was captured. Historic event, and then you've got a live video that captured that historic event, and boom, it's on that channel. It's on your channel. That creates value. Philippe says, sometimes don't feel tired about it. Also, if you don't post anything for a couple weeks, can you do it? Or is it going to hurt your business? Well, see, I've never not posted for a few weeks. I post at least a few times every week. And I can't say I can't say what it would do. What I've heard from others is that, if you don't engage with your audience, if you don't post videos somewhat frequently, that it may be able to hurt you. And see, that I don't know. One thing about YouTube is that YouTube keeps their algorithm a tightly guarded secret. And not only is it tightly guarded, but also it's constantly evolving. So, what the systems may be looking at now, they may not be looking at tomorrow. I mean, if that makes sense. I mean, it's do they ding you for lack of inactivity? For example, somebody posts videos about drones. They post them every day. Another person posts videos about drones, but they only post them every few months. And the other person posts drone videos, but they just recently started the hobby, whereas the other person posts drone videos, and they were one of the early adopters, and they continue to, post drone videos for the current drones. So there's a lot of unknowns, but I wouldn't risk. I mean, with my business, I would not risk not posting at least a few times a week. That's just me. I wouldn't risk it, and that's it's not like you can leave your business and give all power to to someone else to run everything for you. I mean, nobody's going to run your show like you would yourself, and that requires your time commitment and your creativity to keep things going and moving forward. Also, how much subscribers do you need minimum to make a decent living? There's no way to say that, and the reason being is that different videos attract different advertisers. I mean, you'll find, and I forget the individual that did this, but somebody performed deep dive analysis of top earning YouTube videos. And again, I'm not saying this is factual or not, but during their deep dive analysis, what they found is that topics such as finance, they seem to attract the most ad dollars. So, a channel, if that's the case, and again, this is all educated speculation, but if that's the case, a channel that posted all business how-to videos, in essence, could have, let's say, 100 videos covering a variety of heavy-hitting business topics. And if that channel became popular, even with 100 videos, and maybe it didn't generate a lot of subscriber interest, but because of the views and the category of business, there's a possibility that channel, even with a lower subscriber count, as far as earnings are concerned, they could do really well. Because it could be a situation where they're posting business videos that people may watch because they're at work and they need to know how to do something, but they're not necessarily going to click subscribe. It's not like they want to develop a relationship with your brand by subscribing. They were wanting to know how to fix a broken printer or whatever. And they found the answer, and then they moved on. But even if they moved on and everybody else moved on, the value of those videos, even without the subscribers, could be tremendous, just because of the solution that they're providing, if that makes sense. So there's no way to. Cooking is huge, and the thing about being a chef, yes, there's competition, but I'm sure that your recipes are unique. The beauty of a cooking YouTube channel, is that so you've got your recipes that you own the rights to. You've got the opportunity to do your own merchandise, set up like I do right here where I've got my shirts at the top of the feed, Teespring. Come up with your channel name, come up with a cool logo, design your own logo, or go to, there's a website I recommend. Let me see, what was the name of it? They did a really good job for me. Yeah, it sounds sketchy, but it's $40logo.com. Go to $40logo.com. Tell them what your channel name is, and the colors you'd like to use in the logo, and some basic ideas, and you'll probably be surprised at what they whip up for you. So, yeah, I touch a little bit of everything, but with the cooking video being very targeted, see, you've got opportunities. Number one, you've got the recipes, your recipes that you own. You've created them. It's your, you own that. I mean, that's your recipe. Nobody else can rip it off. Number two, you've got all of your ingredients. You know, everything that goes into that recipe, a lot of that's probably sold on Amazon. Become an Amazon affiliate. You know, tell people to check the link within your video's description, and they can find whatever seasoning or whatever cookware, whatever. So you see where I'm going with this. So you can monetize, you can draw interest because of the recipes. And French accent, I tell you, man, and as we chatted earlier, that is one of my favorite things about St. Bart's is the French food, man. And French food is good. And I mean, obviously, like you said, you're French, so you'll be a French chef. That'll amplify the amount of exposure, because French food, I mean, I'm sure you realize it, but looking at it from someone that's not French, when I think of French food, it's up at the top of the ladder as far as quality. So you know, that's how you can do it. I mean, you know, do a cooking channel, get that snazzy logo, put that snazzy logo on your shirts, just like I do. Teespring.com. My IrixGuy's Adventure Channel merchandise. That's a great way to sell your brand. People see the shirt, and maybe you've got a catchy slogan on there. Whatever it is, the crazy little French chef or whatever. You know, whatever snippet you want to put in there, and you know, just make yourself, because you're a French chef, which is big and popular. But what can you do to brand yourself to make you the best French chef on YouTube? And if you can figure that out, man, everything else, I mean, you know, start a channel of, start a funnel of traffic, drive that traffic to your upcoming videos, generate subscriber growth, review cookware, obviously with links back to where they can find to purchase that cookware. There's a lot of ways to monetize it. I think a cooking channel, and again, I'm not a chef at all. I mean, I'm Chef IrixGuy. Don't get me wrong, but you know, Chef IrixGuy is just kind of a, you know, working with what he's got and puts it together. It tastes good and he shares it. You know, there's no true presentation. I mean, I cook stuff because it tastes good. I slop it on a plate and mix it up with other food. There's no presentation. But with a true chef cooking on YouTube, that's huge, man. That is huge. Well, don't say you're not as good as him, because if you start a YouTube channel and you run past him on subscriber and video views, then you can say you're better. So it's it's a big business, y'all. I mean, it is definitely a big business, and that's, again, the reason for the studio here. I mean, this is a live streaming studio, but if I was a chef, a full-time chef, my studio would be in a kitchen. It would be. Yeah, I love the air fry. Air fry with IrixGuy. That's that's a video series I need to expand upon and find some more food items to air fry. I got some more chicken wings coming. I'm gonna fry up some chicken wings. But everybody, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and thanks again for the super chat. That's awesome. And I'm going to dive off of here, but stay tuned, because we're gonna have a ton more videos. And oh yeah, y'all have a good day. And if you haven't subscribed, do so and ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.